My name is Paige Sullivan, and I am 29 years old. I am the owner of a successful event planning company, and I thought I had finally done something to make my family proud. I spent months and over $75,000 of my own money to plan my mother's 60th birthday at a historic Savannah mansion. It was perfect. But then my sister stood up and started handing out custom t-shirts. She tossed one to me with a smirk. I unfolded it. In bold black letters, it read, "Biggest disgrace to this family." My mother laughed. My father shrugged. My brother chuckled. In that moment, something inside me broke. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I reached into my bag, pulled out the legal documents that held their financial future, and tore them to pieces in front of everyone. The room fell silent. I walked out, and my phone hasn't stopped buzzing since. They finally realized what they had lost. Do you think I did the right thing? Let me know in the comments. To understand why that t-shirt was the final straw, you need to know my history. Growing up in the Sullivan household in Atlanta, I was always the invisible child. My older sister, Rachel, was the golden girl, cheer captain, homecoming queen, married by 24. My brother Mark was the prince who could do no wrong. And me, I was the afterthought. If I got an A, it was expected. If Rachel got a B, it was a crisis. If Mark broke a window, it was boys will be boys. I learned to be quiet, to stay out of the way. I poured myself into school, got scholarships, and worked 3 jobs to put myself through college for event management. I didn't get a car for my 16th birthday. I got a bus pass. I didn't get a graduation trip. I got a lecture on financial responsibility. While they doted on Rachel and Mark, I was building something real. By 25, I started Sullivan Events. I worked 80-hour weeks, surviving on coffee and determination. It paid off. Within 4 years, my company was valued at over $15 million. I was handling corporate galas and celebrity weddings. But to my family, I was still just Paige. They never asked about my work. They never came to any of my events. When I bought my first condo, my mother's only comment was, "I hope you didn't overpay." And yet, I still supported them. I paid off $80,000 of my mother's medical bills after her surgery. I sent $15,000 to Mark when his business idea failed. I covered 6 months of my parents' mortgage, another $90,000. I never asked for thanks. I thought if I was generous enough, successful enough, they would finally see me. I was funding their lives, but I was still a ghost in their eyes. Planning my mom's 60th was my last desperate attempt to win their approval. I chose a stunning historic mansion in Savannah. I hired a top-tier caterer, a live jazz band, and arranged every detail myself. I called my mom, excited. Her response was, "Don't make a fuss, Paige." I texted my dad a picture of the venue. He replied, "Looks expensive." Rachel told me the menu I'd planned was tacky. Mark didn't even respond to my messages. But I had a secret. I wasn't just giving her a party. I had prepared a binding contract to transfer 10% of my company's shares to my parents, a gift worth $1.5 million. I also set up a $100,000 college fund for Rachel's 2 children. I had the documents in a beautiful folder, ready to present as the ultimate surprise, the ultimate proof that I was a good daughter, a successful person worthy of their love. The night of the party started beautifully. The mansion was glowing, the music was perfect, and everyone was having a wonderful time. For a brief moment, I let myself believe I had done it. Then my sister Rachel stood up with that stack of t-shirts. When I saw the words on mine, the room started to spin. The laughter from my parents, the smirk from my brother. It was the culmination of a lifetime of being their punchline. So, I reached into my bag. I pulled out that folder holding their $15 million future. I held it up for everyone to see. And then I tore it. I tore it slowly, deliberately, into 100 little pieces. The sound of ripping paper was the only sound in the room. The look on Rachel's face shifted from smugness to panic. "What are you doing?" she shrieked. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My father just stared, stunned. I didn't say a word. I dropped the shreds of their fortune on the floor, turned, and walked out of the mansion. An hour later, the calls started, the texts, the voicemails. Someone had pieced together the shredded documents, and they realized what I had destroyed. The 1.5 million in shares was gone. The 100,000 for my nieces and nephews was gone. Their free ride was over. Rachel went on a social media rampage, calling me a drama queen and blaming me for ruining the party. My parents called everyone they knew, saying I'd had a breakdown. But the truth was out. The facade was broken. I didn't respond to a single message. For the first time in my life, I held all the power. And I chose silence. A few weeks later, a major business magazine published a profile on me and my company. The journalist, who had been working on it for months, detailed my rise to success and, without my prompting, mentioned the extensive financial support I'd given my family for years. The public reaction was overwhelming. Support poured in from strangers who saw the truth my family had always refused to see. The fallout for them was swift. Rachel lost a brand ambassador deal. Mark's potential investors pulled out. My parents, without my monthly support, struggled to pay their bills and eventually had to sell their house. They tried to guilt me, to shame me, but it was too late. I had built a life without them, and it was a good one. My company continued to grow. I found peace. I learned the most valuable lesson. Your worth is not determined by the people who fail to see it. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. It's an act of self-respect. Walking away from toxicity, even when it has your last name, is the bravest thing you can do. If you're in a situation where you're being mistreated by family, know that you are not alone. You are not a disgrace for choosing your own peace. You are strong. Thank you for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel for more real stories like mine. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below.